high-tech engines need high-tech oils.
The Australian motorcycle racing community is mourning the loss of a promising young talent after 21-year-old Lockie Thomas tragically lost his life in a car accident near his northern New South Wales hometown of Uralla. He was a promising superbike rider contesting the Australian FX Superbike Championship aboard the distinctive yellow Inglis Racing Honda Fireblade. Lockie's infectious nature made him stand out from the crowd as one of the good guys. Always bearing a smile, Lockie conducted himself with pride, honour and above all else, respect for his fellow riders, officials and organisers.
I could see the potential in Lockie a long time ago. I've known the family for a while and we just like to show that we can run a small team from the bush, and he's a likeable lad too. We're good friends.
Lockie was nothing short of an outstanding young man with a promising future whose young life has been taken too soon. Universally liked by all and a true gentleman, his absence will be felt by many, especially in the Australian motorcycle racing scene. Vale Lockie Thomas, ride on.
The Speed Week team celebrating the life of talented FX superbike rider Lockie Thomas there, following his tragic death in a car accident last week. We've enjoyed watching Lockie's progression and having him on the show, and our deepest sympathy goes out to his family. Back to racing now, and we head to Adelaide for Andra Drag Racing Spring Nationals now. Here's top door slammer and pro stock motorcycle in action.
It's the Andra Spring Nationals from Adelaide International Raceway, and today top door slammer and pro stock bike will be exploding down the 1,000-foot Thunderdome. The door slammer stakes have never been higher, with supercharged behemoths Peter Kapiris and John Zapier heading for another final winner-take-all round in Sydney. But to stay in contention, Zapier needs to come from behind here in Adelaide and score the win.
I'm going to put the pressure on everybody else and hope others crumble, and I've just got to do the right job. We've just got to make the Fuchs Strike and Monaro go quickly down the track and try and get every point we can to even up the gap between me and Peter before the Nationals.
But Zapier and Kapiris have an unknown threat to contend with as Stewie Bishop makes his Adelaide door slamming debut. He's revved up to make a name for himself here at the Spring Nationals.
Oh yeah, any win would be a great thing, but obviously we've got all the top fellas here, so hopefully not too many people upset and angry with their results.
The business end of the season is also close for Pro Stock Bike, and the two-wheel gladiators know the difference between winning and losing is only a matter of milliseconds.
Qualifying really well is going to be the key here to going well throughout the rest of the championship. So we're relying on qualifying's really pivotal at the moment. So tonight's really going to set the scene. You know, Luke's hot to trot as well. He's going to come out and try and prove a point. So, you know, we've just got to try and go with him. He's definitely got the performance at the moment. So we're just hoping that the Milwaukee bike's got a little bit more left in it, and we're going to throw everything at it for this next one.
Hold on tight, folks. We're about to get radical in Radelaide for the Spring Nationals at Adelaide International Raceway. Here we go. With a smorgasbord of rivalries across the Andra spectrum, none are more white-hot than the dueling Suzuki Speed machines in Pro Stock Motorcycle. Queenslander Luke Crowley is the reigning Australian Nationals and Winter Nationals champion, whilst Victorian Morris Allen has won the last two meets in Adelaide and Sydney. And this weekend, they'll go head-to-head in South Oz.
We've got two full engines ready to go, so we've got the artillery. We've been busy, with Milwaukee. We've had a lot of activities, which is great. We've been launching some new products with Milwaukee around the country. We've been attending some TAFE schools, and we really get into the activation with Milwaukee, and they're great for our team. We come to the race meeting to race, and when we do come here, we're serious about it, and we're here for one reason, and that's to win for Milwaukee. Luke's had some great form this season. He's come out with the new 1755 engine. He's had to sacrifice by putting some weight on the bike, and it's working well for him, and it drives you to come back, look at your deal and say, all right, we've really got to be on our game here because we know Luke's fast.
We run a 100cc bigger engine than what most of the other guys do here, which in theory we should have about 25, 30 more horsepower, but it also gives us a lot more torque, and it's the torque that we need to make it very smooth and consistent off the start line and to the first half of the racetrack. rather than try and be too aggressive and feed a lot of power into the bike. Also, we're carrying maybe 45 pounds more lead weight in the bike than what everyone else is here this weekend, and I actually feel it makes the bike easy to ride, smoother to ride. It rides over the bumps a lot better. We've come to a really bumpy racetrack here in Adelaide, and it's actually just cruising over the bumps like a limousine.
The Spring Nationals marks the turning point in the rivalry as Crowley is on the hunt for some much-needed redemption, and Allen is looking to make it 3 for 3.
It's a race-by-race situation because they're elimination, knockout. You've got to be the last man standing, and quite often for us we've been able to do that. We've had 2 wins in a row this season. We are going for 3, so we're quietly confident, but we've just got to go about it and just make sure that we dot the I's and cross the T's.
Championship's everything we're thinking about at the moment. We wouldn't have come here this weekend if we didn't have to, but we had to. We had a bad meeting in Willowbank. We had a breakage and didn't qualify. Luckily, the event got canned, and now we're here in Adelaide, and hopefully we'll come out on top this time. We're doing this to win the championship, and we'll do everything it takes to win it.
All I can say for Luke is just, he's going to need to be on his game because, we're going to be pushing him all the way.
No, he's still catching me. I'm still in front, so bring it on.
So we find ourselves here at Adelaide International Raceway for the Lady Daly 2013 Spring Nationals in South Australia, and we have a barn-burning battle for championship glory in Pro Stock motorcycles. We enter round 5. Crowley has the lead. Morris Allen there in second. Lockie Ireland in third. Scott White and Glenn Worcester. Those guys all hoping to wrap up a championship after a couple of more rounds still to go. As we take a look at a man who knows what it's like to win a championship, Morris Momo Allen.
Yes, he does indeed, and he will be taking on the championship leader, Luke Crowley, in this round 1 qualifying battle. 2 of the probably quickest bikes on the field this weekend. As we have a look at their first run, you can see the shift light glowing at the night time. Cold air, very good conditions for these bikes, and getting a little bit loose in the braking area. Luke Crowley, that sort of makes a hair stand up on the back of your neck, Wade.
That was a bit of a look at highlights of qualifying session number 1. Extremely cool conditions, different somewhat to this bright sunny situation we face ourselves here. A lot of people saying the track conditions have really improved dramatically since the last Andra Championship round. The guys, of course, running the full quarter mile here as opposed to Door Slammer running over 1,000 foot.
Absolutely. Just saw Scott White go through for a 7:32. Very, very good run. He's making that trip down from the Northern Territory camp. Let's have a look at the next pair up. It is Morris Allen yet again. He'll be taking on Glenn Worcester in this battle.
Glenn Worcester, of course, out of Warrnambool in Victoria aboard the Wheelie Waste bike. Allen a little bit towards the double white line and the timing boxes, but still manages to run it through pretty solidly. Allen still very much in chance for a championship victory this year. A 7:41 with the 2 for Morris puts him in at 3rd quickest right now.
Yeah, Luke Crowley, another solid run there, solidifying that championship lead. Comes into the 3rd session as the number 1 qualifier after that 7:25 in the 9th session.
Adelaide really rejoicing in the renewed interest that the Andra Championship Drag Racing Championship has brought to the city now that air is back and really rocking. As I said, to the surface, getting a whole lot of kudos. Everyone's saying they're really starting to enjoy the way that the bikes and cars are hooking up. There's a man who knows how to win a championship.
Yeah, Lockie Ireland, reigning national champion in Pro Stock motorcycle. Best run of the weekend so far in the 3rd session. Goes 7:45 with a 5 up against Glenn Worcester's 7:46. So it was a good side-by-side run. Problems for Phil Howard down the bottom of the qualifying list there in 6th. But Luke Crowley, he will go into eliminations as your number 1 qualifier. 7:25 with a 3. Done in that 1st session. That is a very stout run, Wade.
Big thanks to Sid Chrome, as always, for bringing us our qualifying results. We now move into eliminations, and Mr. Immaculate, Morris Momo Allen, who's been experimenting. Gee, that's an immaculate bike. I remember seeing it at the Clipsal 500. The guys had it there on display for Milwaukee Power Tools and M18 Race Fuels. And, well, his dad is never far from his side. They really do love their racing, this team. And Momo, a championship winner from 2011, now facing an uphill battle to keep Crowley in his gun sights points-wise.
Absolutely, and this is a big battle for the championship right here because these 2 guys, they're 2nd and 3rd in the points. They're the last 2 champions that we've had in Pro Stock motorcycle. There is a lot on the line right here as Lockie Ireland goes through for his burnout procedure on the Lucas Oil motorcycle. bike. And of course, Johnny's Hog Shop as well on board, helping him out as always.
Just waiting. Momo's in there nice and early. He's good to go as we wait for Lockie to roll in and get after it. Great conditions for drag racing. Very cool conditions and quite dewy as well on the Friday night qualifying. Caught everybody in the hop except for the man who leads the points. Now it's Allen v Ireland. Round 1 of eliminations for Pro Stock Motorcycle.
Ooh, ugly launch for Lockie Ireland. That bike is moving all about the place. I think that's going to open the door. Morris Allen goes through, gets the win. 7:41 with the 6, 291 kilometres per hour. He's going through to the semi-finals, and Lockie Ireland, he's going to be a little bit disappointed with that, I'd say, going out in the first round of racing.
Morris Allen very keen to keep the pressure on the championship leader. That's a very good result for him. You can see where they nip off over the quarter mile just then. The Pro Stock Motorcycles running the full quarter mile here in Adelaide. And of course, it's more based on the runoff area for things like door slammer, etc. But they'll run 1,000 foot here, given that little bit of extra runoff area at the deep end of the course.
Next pair up, it will be Scott White from the Northern Territory making the trek down. And a guy who's actually been putting in some very good performances over the current season. He's starting to go rounds, really starting to get a handle on the bike. He'll be taking on Glenn Worcester from Warrnambool this time around.
Of course, Worcester and White, both guys inside the top 5 in the championship proper and looking to advance. Here's Melbourne, thrilled to be hosting very soon a round of the Andrew Championship Drag Racing Series. Going to be a massive event. The Fuchs Nitro Thunder, presented by Crow Cams. The October 19 weekend, that is going to be you know what.
It's going to be huge. Top fuel on deck, top bike and Pro Stock motorcycle as well. It is going to be massive.
So on screen now, Darwin's Scott White. What can Worcester do? He's come up from Warrnambool, try to improve his championship position as well.
Interesting to see that Scott White's got the clear visor on board. Looking straight into the sun here, don't know whether that's going to have an impact. Well, it looks like he actually gets away with not too bad of a reaction time. He gets the advantage on the start line and converts that to the win at the top end of the racetrack. A 7:33. Wow, Scott White, 7:33. That is a fantastic run for that team.
The Hayabusa boys will be wrapped with that. Not so Worcester, who really was, unfortunately, asleep at the lights. Reaction time nowhere near what you need in this class of racing. If you go in with a .47 light, you're going to get caned. And that's unfortunately what happened to Glennie.
Yeah, every single time. He made a good run though. 7:48 is nothing to sneeze at. But man, 7:33 from Scott White. I think a few of the other guys will be taking notice of that one.
286. Not a bad ET, that's for sure. As we take a look at the very cool, calm eyes of Phil Howard on screen. The boys just giving him a little bit of shade, as you said just then, Rusty, as well. The sun setting right over the end of the quarter mile here. As we wait for this, as always, immaculate Tintworks entry of Luke Crowley, the Neil Rust bike, about to come into burnout.
He's got the tinted visor on it, and we talk about the sun because when you're racing down these quarter miles, it can be a very difficult thing when you're in one lane and you're looking across and you've got the sun directly behind the Christmas tree. I know it's a problem at Willowbank Raceway. They do usually have the sun break in the afternoon. It looks like it could be an issue here for these guys, but it doesn't seem to have phased too many of them so far.
Phil Howard's bike, it's a radical bit of kit, isn't it? Very nice. The ND Racing entry. Good crowd here in Adelaide, set to enjoy their action as we see Phil bagging them up. Just heating up that big rear tyre, get it nice and sticky for that run. And Crowley too prepares the Tintworks bike as he prepares. Can he keep the championship? Well, he could really do a job on the rest of the field here with a round win.
Yeah, he could, and it's really a David versus Goliath battle here. Phil Howard hasn't got down the racetrack yet all week, and Luke Crowley comes in as a #1 qualifier, 7:25.
Just saw Phil holding his hand up then to shade his eyes from the sun. He's going to run with the visor up. My goodness, and what's going on here? This is dramatic. Crowley left at the line. Howard goes through with the visor up, thank you.
Wow.
And a big wriggle up just then.
Wow, that's going to be a big one for the championship. Well, it looks like Phil Howard's gone through for the win. Luke Crowley hasn't moved on the starting line, and I think the starter's telling him he's rocked back. He pulled it back out of stage very, very slightly. That's all it takes. And, man, he's not going to be happy about that. Our championship leader out in the first round of racing.
Oh, look at the body language too. Luke knows that was absolutely critical. Somehow Phil got the visor down. I don't know how he did. It tracked towards the centre line, but that's a fairly handy run from Howard.
Indeed it was. Now, he got very close to the centre line there.
Yeah, did the job.
And yeah, gets the win. Obviously, it's all fair and square. The starter has made the decision that Luke Crowley did rock back out of the beam. So the semi-final matchups will be Morris Allen up against Scott White. Morris Allen will be grinning after seeing what happened to Luke Crowley. And Phil Howard, the man who only got down the racetrack for the first time in the first round of racing, he will have the bye.
To the pit report now, and championship leader Luke Crowley joins me. Unfortunately, a huge upset. You've red lit and you've knocked out straight away. What happened for you?
Yeah, unfortunately, we were the last bike to enter the stage beams, and they've deemed that I put the second light on and actually rolled backwards back out of it as the starters hit the trigger to activate the tree. Now, I don't believe we moved a millimetre, but we've protested it. It's been overturned. They're not going to rerun the race, so that's us done for the weekend.
How much of a blow is it for the championship with 2 rounds to go?
That's guaranteed that we'll probably go back to at least second place now. Morris will probably gain enough points in the next round, and yeah, we'll be overtaken easily now. So we just got to look forward to Calder and hopefully change the outcome.
Well, congratulations to Luke Crowley. That is a very diplomatic answer. Well done. He's thinking already about Calder. We're thinking about what's happening after the break. There's plenty more from Pro Stock Motorcycle. And Door Slammer is ahead from Adelaide after this. Arguably the biggest battle across all ANDRA categories is between door slamming stalwarts Peter Kapiris and John Zappia.
We never give up. We just keep on fighting right till the end. And yeah, if I was going to give up, I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't have come. So we're here to fight tooth and nail to the end, and I've just got to keep the pressure on Pete and hope that he crumbles. There's so many variables, and some of them are 10% factor, some of them only 1% factor, but all in all, yeah, there's a lot of variables that the crew chief's got to figure out, and that's me. And then I've got to take my hat off, and switch over to being a driver and concentrate on what I'm doing, and be able to be comfortable in the car and be able to see and aim the car the right angle down the track and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
I suppose he'd probably feeling the pressure as much as I was last year. I was in the same boat last year, but I was a bit closer. But he'll fight till the end, to the last pass, which I will too. Yeah, he wants to win, probably more than I do. I don't know. I doubt it, but I really, really want to win. Last year I was leading, had a couple of mishaps, hit the wall, and didn't qualify the meeting, and he sort of got to jump on me the last couple of meetings. I just couldn't make it up. But it come down to like the last race, the last pass. If I'd won that meeting, I would have won the championship. So there was nothing in it.
Although not racing the traditional quarter-mile layout this weekend, Adelaide's 1,000-foot circuit has forced each team to change their setup tactics, and it puts another twist on this constantly evolving rivalry.
The last 320 feet is the easy part. It's getting part to 330. If you get to 330 fast, the rest of the run's fast. So, we've been doing 8th mile at Slamfest, and we've been going fast there. So yeah, 1,000 foot is you just shutting it off a little bit earlier than the 1320 feet, but it's the first 330 feet that's the daunting task of how to tune to get the most out of it without going out of control or crossing the centre line or tagging the wall.
The 1,000 foot compared to the normal quarter mile, obviously you've got to change your ratios and set the car up for 1,000 foot, but like every track's got its challenges. This has got another challenge. That's all it is.
I'm still confident. It's not, it's definitely not in the bag. Like I say, the championship's Peter's to lose. If he doesn't do anything wrong, he can't lose from this position. So it's his to lose, and we just got to make sure that we're doing the best we can do and see what happens.
But outside, driver, he's a nice guy. We get along great. Everyone gets along great. But obviously, when you're racing, you want to push him off the track and really want to smash him hard, But it's racing, that's a competitiveness. That's why you're doing it. There's no other reason why you come out and do what you do. It's just in your nature.
turn our attention now to some four-wheel action at Adelaide International Raceway, the Lady Daly Hotel Spring Nationals, and it's door slammer time, baby. It's been some time since we've seen some door slammer fury at this circuit. The boys are amped to get back and amongst it. This is the championship situation after round 5, and Zappia is saying it's Kapiris' championship to lose. Mind games already.
And you would expect nothing else when you look at it. The top 3 guys in the points have 12 national titles between them.
It's the Zap and Cap show this weekend, isn't it? As this championship may well get decided. Here is the immaculate Wallace Bishop Jewelers entry of Stewie Bishop. Now, of course, this guy has a remarkable heritage with South Australia. He used to sail here in competitive yacht sailing, nearly represented Australia in 88 and 92 in the Olympic Games. He runs a 5:07 in the first session. Very cool, dewy conditions here.
Yeah, very dewy. A little bit challenging for the teams because when there is a little bit of moisture just starting to settle on the racetrack, it does tend to make it a little bit harder for them to hook these cars up. Ben Bray and Murray O'Connor on board now, and Murray O'Connor, great driving job to keep that thing upright and in his own lane. He did cross the centre line there, so that run will be null and void. Let's have a look at what exactly happened. It looked like maybe a little bit of fuel coming out of it, or a tyre shake issue. Hard to say when just looking at one replay, but we'll go racing now with session 2. A lot better conditions this time around.
Yeah, absolutely. Much more conducive atmospheric conditions. It was extremely dewy in that first session. Here is Morris Fabietti, fabulous, in the Holden Trade Club at Monaro, and the man who looks to try and get just a little bit more breathing space over Zappia. Kapiris fairly strong in that session, but still running 5th with a 5:25 and a 3. And Marty Dack, that thing is immaculate.
Yeah, over from WA to have another crack at this Adelaide racetrack. 13 years since we've been here with the door slammers, so not a whole lot of data on the racetrack for some of the newer guys. Now, Stuart Bishop, he accepts the green light here, but doesn't look like the car moved the whole way, and they're certainly mopping something up. That looks like a blower pulley there. It looks like one of the bottom blower pulleys came off the car, so that's a very rare occurrence in door slammer racing.
So Fabietti, O'Connor unfortunately having his dramas earlier, you saw that. And the West Aussie, again, with big issues here.
He is. He's having big issues, and he is pedaling to get that thing to the finish line. Unfortunately, that run will not be good enough to make it in to the field. He will be the first alternate in the number 9 qualifying spot. John Zappia, another strong run. How's that? 5:03 to the top of the tree in the final session of qualifying.
The Brays at play here in Adelaide. This family really has the most amount of laps on this circuit. They have the most experience at the Adelaide International Raceway. Let's take a look at the Sid Chrome qualifying results now. Zap throwing it down at the feet of Peter Kapiris. Stewie Bishop, great job. 5:07 with a 6-second quickest. Bray, Dack, Kapiris, Fabietti, Bray and Carboni. Unfortunately, O'Connor misses the cut. The West Aussie going home early. Really one of the privateers in the burgeoning top door slammer ranks. As we see the man who leads the championship with a couple of round wins already, Peter Kapiris, firing up against Marty Dack.
Going to be an interesting race, this one, because Marty Dack is a guy who certainly knows how to throw it down. He has been running some very, very competitive passes over the quarter mile, but again, we're racing the 1,000-foot distance this weekend, so can change things up. The racing surface here is also a little bit different to what we usually see for the top door slammers. They are racing on an all bitumen surface, which I've got to say has been very, very nicely prepared this weekend. They have done a stellar job in getting this racetrack up to championship standards, and it's showing in the fantastic performances that we're seeing.
I'm always in awe when the Kapiris Brothers Racing entry is on the racetrack, whether it's backing up, whether it's going forward. It's always got my vote. There is Pete. He's a cool cat. He's actually got quite a bit of South Australian heritage himself. He spent a lot of time initially in South Australia, lived many years. He's now, these days, a proud Victorian, but he's got about 60 family, friends and followers here this weekend to cheer him on.
And that's just his immediate family.
Absolutely.
Well, this promises to be a fantastic battle. You can see Mark Brewer out in front of the car for Peter Kapiris, guiding him into stage as usual. A lot on the line here, because remember, Peter Kapiris could virtually wrap up the championship this weekend with a good performance.
What a great shot that is. Zappia will be watching this with interest, and he'll be cheering on Marty Dack in that immaculate Valvoline Ford. We get set. The Lady Daly Hotel Nationals. Oh, big wander from Marty. Kapiris Capirus will get home. If that was a cleaner run by Dak, he might have almost had Capirus.
Yeah, he got very, very close. A lot of raw fuel coming out of the pipes after the finish line there. But the crew are very, very happy with that. They get the win. They're through to the semi-finals, and it's more points in the bank. Let's have a look at the replay. You can see Dak actually gets out very nicely. Looks like it's dropping a little bit of fuel behind it, maybe caused it to get a little bit loose, and that's all it took for Peter Capirus to walk on through for the win.
Dak Attack Motorsports, their shirts. If you're not blown, you're not known. Gotta love that. There is Marty, zooming by just a smidgen too late as we see Ben Bray in the Synchrome 440 Series Monaro up against another Monaro right here. All you Holden fans have been loving this. Fabietti to the right side of your screen, the Holden Trade Club entry. They've been very, very loyal supporters of Morris, and he in turn right back as we take a ride with Ben Bray. It's remarkable. It's been 2008 since Benny had his last win.
Yeah, his last championship win. Yeah, in Top Door Slammer. That is quite unbelievable. We're looking at 5 years since his last win. Morris Fabietti, of course, another guy who's been racing Door Slammers for a long, long time now. Now, remember that Ben has done a lot of racing in the Slamfest series. He's done a lot of racing on tracks that are similar to this as far as their makeup, the bitumen tracks, not with the concrete launch pads and that sort of thing. So he's got a lot of data as to how to attack these racetracks, and it's showing he's been very, very consistent this weekend.
What he has unfortunately got is a team that hasn't had much sleep. They've burnt up pistons pretty badly, this team. They've had dramas in qualifying. Benny's back out there now trying to put away Fabietti. And he'll do that. Good run for the Synchrome boys. A 5.18 with a 1 at 340 kilometres an hour. Puts away Morris. They both run in the 340k an hour range, but Benny gets there first.
Yeah, that one was virtually won on the start line. Reaction time difference around about 7/100ths of a second, and that's what it looks like at the other end of the racetrack. Only 1/100th of a difference in their elapsed times at the finish line. Ben Bray goes through for the win, and he's on his way to the semi-finals.
Beautiful sunset over the top of Speedway City in the background there, the Adelaide International Raceway Complex. Wow, nice looking helmet. Here is Stewie Bishop, the Wallace Bishop Jewelers entry. Solid job for Stu in that qualifying last night, wrapping up P2, and he did it in the cooler conditions.
Yeah, he did. He did it in the night session, which I think he was the only guy to actually lay down his best run in that first session, which was very surprising. Did have his problems with consistency, though. He idled down the track on one run, and then he was pushed back on the third run. So coming into it, not a whole lot of consistency to back himself up. Victor Bray, though, he's been struggling himself. Comes in as a number 7 qualifier, not where we've expected him to be.
No, because he's had a couple of solid runs this year with, of course, a championship round win as well for VB. Sits there in third in the championship and is really eyeing off this battle between Capirus and Zappia. And he would love to come in and just spoil their party. We have one more round after this. This is the penultimate round. The Nationals in Sydney will be the place to wrap things up. Stewie Bishop. Hardly any sign writing on the thing. It's just me.
It is a very, very tough looking car. This all carbon fibre body, this is entirely composite, and there's actually, if you go and have a look at it, it is one of the nicest built cars that you will see. Stuart, more than happy to show you around the car as well if you ask.
As opposed to the sponsor fest that's going on right here with Victor Bray. Have a look at that. Got them all on board as VB up against the Wallace Bishop Jewelers entry. Bray v Bishop.
Well, small hole shot to Victor Bray. Look at the wheel stand at half track for Stuart Bishop, and he converts it to the win. 5.05. That is one of the quicker runs that we've seen so far in the first round of racing. I can't wait to see the replay on this one because that car stood up at half track. Big, big power stand, and he knocks out the number 3 in the points.
Watching Victor then, it was an ugly run for VB. It led towards the centre lane. It was spongy. 5.05, nice job for Stewie Bishop. Second, in fact, to the fastest speed currently. Out comes Zappia. Look at the burnout. That is massive. I should see a couple of sparks come out of the back of the Zappia car just then.
That's very unusual. I'm not sure what that is. But we'll be taking on Pat Carboni in the Camaro, who puts on a fairly significant smoke show of himself there.
The Process Resource Group on board now with Zappia as well. The striker crushing entry, also Fuchs on board. He's never short of some sponsorship, is John Zappia. He is, without a doubt, drag racing royalty in Western Australia as he brings back the Fuchs Pro Comp entry. Another guy that's very good, as you can see, with sponsors on board, K-Trans as well. And here's the power play entry of Pat Carboni. She said a strong, smoky burnout to kick things off for Pat. Can he take care of Zappia? It's a big call.
Well, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, it's the number 8 qualifier versus the number 1 here, but we have seen Pat Carboni do very well at some of the Perth rounds of the Door Slammer Championship. So there would be no surprises here if he lays down a solid number and really gives John Zappia a run for his money.
First time the Door Slammer Championship has ever been held over 1,000 foot. Nothing in it at the lights. Oh, Zapp wanders to the centre, but he'll get it done. Let's have a look at the time. It's a 5:05 at 364.26 kilometres an hour. There's your fastest speed right there.
Wow, and you know what that's just done? That has just set up a semi-final matchup between John Zappia and Peter Kapiris, our 2 championship hitters.
Mouth-watering, that's what it is. Carboni still ran a 5:37, that's handy.
Yeah, he did a good job. Got very close to the centre line at the top end of the racetrack. You can see the hand goes up for John Zappia, grabs the shoots, feels some hits, and that's what it's all about.
So let's take a look at your Sid Chrome ladder. Bishop will face Benny Bray. Kapiris will face Zappia in that other semi. It's all going to be a big final coming up for Door Slammer here in Adelaide.
To the pit report now, and Ben Bray joins me. Now, 17 hours of reconstruction after burnt pistons. How well is the setup now?
Yeah, the car's pretty good. The team worked overnight. The boys haven't had a lot of sleep. I don't even think I let them have breakfast because we had a lot of time to try and get the car back out here. We made the 3rd qualifying session. Car went 5:17 over the 1,000 foot. Come first round, had Morris Fabietti in the other Monaro, which is always a hard task because Fabs don't let you get anything. A little bit of a whole shot win to me because we were so close on the track. It was probably a little bit faster. I come out on top. The Sid Chrome Monaro, I really can't fault it at the moment. Like, it's going down the middle of the track. It's pretty cool to drive at the moment. It's a little bit skatey out there, but we all got the same track. It's just a black strip to all of us, and we all got to, I guess, judge it right and see if we can win.
Pull the belts down extra tight, folks, because coming up after the break, it's crunch time. Semi-finals and finals for both Pro Stock Bike and Top Door Slammer from Adelaide. Welcome back to Adelaide International Raceway for the Lady Daily Hotel Spring Nationals. And your Sid Chrome race ladder sees the semis of Allen v. White, and Howard will actually get the bye run into the final. And I gotta say, he needs it because right now he hasn't had the smoothest of runs to get there.
Well, and the bye run does give him that opportunity to test. So he will go out and try a few things and just try to go from point A to point B. But we'll see that one in just a second. Morris Allen will be the first bike up. He'll be taking on Scott White from the Northern Territory. And this promises to be a pretty good matchup, but a lot on the line for Morris Allen.
Yeah, absolutely. Morris really needs to capitalise on Crowley going out in, well, you won't say controversial, but you'll certainly say remarkable circumstances in that first round when he was deemed to have crept back marginally, which then unfortunately offset the beam, and he got the red light situation. Howard went through, and that's where he will face a bye run coming up in a moment. There is the Darwin Northern Territorian, Scotty White on the all-white bike. I guess that kind of fitting, really.
It is very fitting. Now, he was a surprise packet in the first round of racing. Came out, went 7:33, which is one of the quickest runs I think we've seen out of this bike. Very, very competitive. Morris Allen, we haven't seen those types of performances out of him this weekend. So really, Allen, you've got to think is coming into this as, well, the underdog, let's say it.
Here we go. Very good light for White. He gets away. He's going to put Morris Allen out. Crowley will be wrapped with that almost as much as White is.
He does, and it really limits the damage for Luke Crowley. Scott White, he is Luke Crowley's new best friend. 7:33, 282 kilometres per hour, puts Morris Allen on the trailer. Not a bad run at all from Morris Allen, 7:71, but just Scott White just streaks on through to the distance.
You think Crowley got to White before his crew did to slap him on the back and say, nice work? Morris just got hosed. Very good light for White. Good night, Nurse. Momo now having to contemplate the battle ahead after this round. You can see everyone a bit rugged up in the stands as Phil Howard backs up for his bye run. It's a little bit cool. We saw conditions for qualifying catch a few people out with those dewy conditions. Wouldn't surprise me if it's a bit the same. Now, Phil's had some trouble with gearbox wise.
Yeah, I don't think it has been any secret that he has been struggling this weekend with this bike, but it's a circuit that he's got mixed emotions when he comes to. Of course, he did have a little bit of an off in the braking area here just a couple of years ago.
Well, waiting to come up on this by run, the Nightmare Designs ND Racing entry. Visor cracked slightly there. This time it's because of the cool conditions. You don't want to fog up your visor when you've had to do almost 300 kilometres an hour.
Yeah, you like to be able to see where you're going. He dumps it into full stage, leaves the line. It's a big red light, but it doesn't matter. He is on a solo pass, and again, problems. Gets to what sounded like the top of second gear to me and rolls through for a 12.23. So he's on his way to the final round, but you've got to say, sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good, and it looks like it's one of those days for Phil Howard.
Yeah, but look, Scott White is sitting there right now knowing he's got 2 really strong runs under his belt, facing up against Howard, who's lacking track time at good speed. So anyway, drag racing's a funny old game. Anything could happen in the final. There's your Synchrome ladder. White will face Howard in the final of Pro Stock Bike very soon. Well, just to add a bit more drama to it, that is one awesome big full moon. Have a look at that. Burning brightly over the top of Adelaide International Raceway for the Lady Daly Hotel Spring Nationals, and everyone a bit rugged up. She's a little bit chilly. What can this man on screen do right now? Really needs to pull a big run out, Phil Howard, and take care of Scotty White.
He really just needs to focus on his own race. Just get down the racetrack, let Scott White trip himself up, because that's really all that can stop him. With the performance that he's been laying out today, 7.33 in the first and the second round, Scott White is really the favourite coming into this one.
The Hayabusa has certainly been on a higher level so far. A massive effort, taking out a couple of big names to get himself here. A strong qualifying result for the Territorian. And they've been having problems shifting gears on the Howard bike. Let's hope he's got that situation sorted right now. Waiting on White to bang a burnout in. Reckless, the number plate says on the back. He's been anything but reckless this weekend.
He has been super competitive and super conservative, just going down the racetrack each and every time. Drag racing's a funny thing. You're racing the other guy in the other lane, but you also really just need to focus on what you're doing. If you don't get what you're doing right, then you can't win the race. That's what it's all about.
Got the proud Territorian flag just down the lower side of the cowling just then, along with the AMPAC sticker on board. You were saying to me too that Phil Howard is a man with enormous drag racing bike experience.
Yeah, he's raced a lot of different categories over the years. He won the Nationals in Top Fuel Motorcycle, as well as numerous other events. He'd love to add the trophy from the Lady Daly Spring Nationals to that cabinet, I would say, here today. So we're just about set for a start. Both bikes in. Big advantage to Scott White, 0.59. Looking at it though, Phil Howard is giving him a race. Best run of the weekend for Phil Howard, 7.70, but it's not enough for Scott White. Scott White gets a win, 7.44, and gets his first win in the Andra Championship Drag Racing Series.
I think the Howard team absolutely relieved to see the bike go the full distance. To me, like his visor was a bit fogged up towards the end as well for Phil, so he had everything to be concerned about. But White, what a fabulous moment for the Territorian. You remember this forever.
Yeah, you always remember your first win in a professional category, and I'd say he will be down the top end of the racetrack. Very, very happy with Summer Bow.
Scott White, first win since 1992. First win in Adelaide. A new crew. How good is this?
How good is it? It doesn't get any better than this. This is just fantastic. It's been that long. That 1992 win was in Darwin. I'd lived in Adelaide. I had to travel there. This time I've done it the other way around. I got my long-term crew. Paul Gray has been with me, but otherwise new help tonight. This thing's just been on song. The AMPAC warning system Suzuki has just been running 7.3s just over and over and over again, and we've beat the best that there is tonight, so I'm just absolutely stoked. It doesn't get any better than this, and it makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah, what a fantastic result for Scotty White. And interestingly enough, Morris Allen misses a major opportunity to overtake Luke Crowley in the championship chase. White a strong third now. Lockie Ireland in fourth, Worcester in fifth. That's your championship battle after round 5, thanks to Sid Chrome. Business end of the situation right now for top door slammer here at Adelaide International Raceway, the Lady Daly Hotel Spring Nationals And the championship is really coming down to the wire. The boys at the back describing how the car's squatted down. At least I think that's what they're discussing. Ben Bray up against Stewie Bishop. This is a good battle lurking right here. Stewie Bishop's in good touch. The man who used to be very much an Olympic trials yachtsman in South Australia back in the day. These days, he's sailing down the quarter mile.
He is, and he's doing a very nice job of it. Went 5:05 in the first round of racing. Remember, the door slammers only racing over the 1,000-foot distance this weekend because of the shortness of the braking area. But you know, he's up against Ben Bray here, who is going to try and kill him with consistency this weekend. He's going out. He's running very competitive 5.1 second times. Not the quickest in the field, but he is getting down the track each and every time, and that's what you need to do.
And as he said earlier with summer too, the boys have had no sleep, no breakfast. It's been pretty well slim pickings for the Synchron team. They had piston issues big time in qualifying, and they've really been thrashing. They've had no sleep at all. It's the glamorous life of drag racing, isn't it? Just waiting. It's his mum standing at the back there as the Hog Breath Cafe teeth back up. Will he have a big chomp out of Stewie Bishop in this one to go into the final?
It is hard to believe that it's been 2008, or since 2008 I should say, since his last championship win. Quite incredible when you look at the
5
numbers.
years.
It's such a long time. And, you know, Victor Bray has had his resurgence over the last 6 months, 12 months or so.
Yeah.
But Brent's really been out in the wilderness, but he's looking to make his way back now.
Well, they've been experimenting, got a new engine package, they've been working on a whole heap of different things. He's been a very busy boy as well. Also had a bit of success over the years in super compact racing as well. Waiting to get after it. Who's going through to the final? Bishop closest to camera, up against Ben Bray. The Lady Daly Hotel Spring Nationals. Geez, lazy liner, 0.2 light. And Bray smokes through to go into the final of 5.19. But when is a door slammer not a door slammer, Rusty?
Well, when it doesn't have any doors left, it blew the door clean off that thing just after the finish line. It got a little bit of air. I'm not sure if the window of the door actually came off a little bit. You can see right here, it starts to open slowly and then bang, comes off right at the finish line, and that's going to be hard to fix for the next round of racing.
And you have to fix it. You cannot roll up with a door missing. We know that in the regulations. Bishop would be spewing, because that was a fairly solid run from Stewie. He's been rock solid all weekend. Second semi right now. Wow, championship situation. Zapier has come out, as usual, has had a bit to say, the Muhammad Ali of door slammer racing, and said Kapiris has got all the top-end speed, but over 1,000 feet, that's going to be negated. That's where Pete comes on. We'll see, won't we?
Well, we'll soon find out, because
I like the way Zap just calls it.
This one is for all the marbles right now. It is Peter Kapiris, John Zapier, two of the biggest names in door slammer racing, full stop. They are going head-to-head, and this is a big one. Peter Kapiris with the win. He's got a chance to virtually wrap up the championship this weekend. If he can win this event, send John Zapier packing now. That's it. The reign of John Zapier will be over. But I think maybe, just maybe, the guy sitting inside that Monaro might have something to say about it.
I don't know. You reckon he's determined? What a legend of the game. And Kapiris well and truly on his way to legend status as well. 76 points is what separated them coming in. If Kapiris can stretch that to 118 by the end of the round, it's game over. But even 98-point lead means all he has to do is do a qualifying pass in Sydney, and basically he's got it wrapped up. Great rivalries in door slammer racing. It's just a fantastic category in Aussie motorsport. What is not to love? Seriously.
It is just one of the greatest racing categories in all of motorsports, and this is one of the best rivalries. About to go head-to-head, Peter Kapiris and John Zapier. This one is for all the marbles.
Kapiris to the right-hand side. Zapier has got to win this to keep the championship alive. Nothing in it here. Zap is home. The West Aussie. Oh, nailed the time box just after the run, was it?
Nailed the quarter-mile timing blocks. Now, remember, we're racing over the 1,000 feet distance this weekend, so he is okay. You can cross.
Look at the boys.
You can cross the centre line after the braking area, but you can see there is a lot of camaraderie between these guys as well. It is a rivalry, but there is a lot of friendship between them as well. You can see both cars were moving around a bunch. And I tell you what, neither driver was taking their foot off. What a great race.
Do you see that with the Zap boys and the Bray boys? That kind of camaraderie? Maybe not so much
Nah, not so much.
I love it, mate. I just love it. It's a great rivalry, that's for sure. Kapiris didn't do a whole lot wrong. Just got a bit of a wriggle up about half track, and Zap said, "See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. This championship is still alive, baby."
John, it was a battle of the Titans. You've come home strong this meeting. What's working for you?
Oh, look, just a track that's not perfect, but we've mastered it. We're getting it down it with 5:03's national record, 5:05 and a 5:08 on that one. It rattled a bit on that one, and it's hard to see with it nighttime vision. I pedalled it, carried on, saw I was ahead of Pete, but it went a bit crooked. I went past the 1,000 foot, and hard to judge where 1,000 foot is because I've never raced 1,000 foot before. But we went past that okay and clipped the quarter mile cone, so lucky it wasn't a quarter mile race or I would have lost. But we've won, we've stopped Pete in his tracks, and we're closing the gap. So, hey, this championship's now doable at the Nationals. I've got one more run to do tonight, and if I can do that, we'll be like 21 points behind Pete going into the Nationals, and it's just going to be awesome for the fans and everyone because it's anyone's race.
Yeah, Zap's had the calculator out. He knows exactly what the point situation demands. Your Sid Chrome ladder sees Bray v Zappy, and there's a bit of feeling between those two. Cannot wait for the final in just a moment. Well, you heard Rusty say before, this is for all the marbles. Well, this is for all the bowling balls in that case, because it just got bigger. Red light flashing, crowd pumped up, kids loving it as well as we get set for an epic battle with a lot of niggle between them. Benny Bray and John Zappia, no secret, the boys love to win against each other.
Yeah, you could say there's a little bit of feeling whenever these guys race each other. You know, nothing untoward, it's just one of those things. There are some guys that you like to beat more than others, and when these guys beat each other, I guarantee you they get out of the car at the other end of the racetrack and they have got a bigger smile on their face than what they usually do.
Benny Bray does not have a championship to play for here. He has an opportunity to improve on his position, but he's by no means got as much hanging on it in terms of the overall championship as John Zappia. So in some ways, Ben Bray has less pressure. Just go out there and pedal the thing, maybe come home with the win and really get that 5-year hoodoo out of the way. Yeah. Whereas Zap, he's desperate. Now he's put Kapiris away to finish the job.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say it's a monkey on his back. It's more like a gorilla on Ben Bray's back at the moment. It's been 5 years since his last win. We keep touching on it. John Zappia, he really needs to lay down a number here and get around Ben Bray. It all comes down to the Nationals. Either way, whatever happens in this race, it is going to come down to the Nationals in Sydney, and that is going to be one hell of an event, let me tell you. But before that, we've also got the Fuchs Nitro Thunder event at Calder Park. Yeah. Of course, John Zappia's title sponsor, they are on board with that one. That's going to be a big one.
Absolutely. The Fuchs Nitro Thunder presented by Crow Cams. You can see the 440 Pro Series on the Butterflies, and of course, John Zappia keeps his national record on his.
He does, and he changes it whenever he updates it. What I'm confused about, we've got 1,000-foot records, we've got 8-mile records, we've got quarter-mile records. Does he change it for every event now?
Hard to believe he's never run 1,000-foot before. And all the things he's done in his life. Anyway, let's get after it. Zappia v Ben Bray, door slammer final. The Lady Daly Hotel Spring Nationals.
Oh, Ben Bray is taking his time coming into stage. Huge hole shot for Ben Bray. That's a big one. 0.78. He's out in front. And he's done it. He gets that gorilla off his back. A 5.17 puts John Zappia on the trailer.
Wow. You can see the Bray team absolutely elated. You don't reckon that Victor might have just punched a truck-sized hole in the air with that right mitt. Wow. What a time to pull one out. Here's a replay. Just that hole shot was critical, and Zap got out of shape.
Yeah, a little bit out of shape for John Zappia. Had to give it a pedal. That was enough. Ben Bray went through for the win. You can see straight down the centre, or as straight as a door slam it goes, straight down the middle, and he killed him with consistency this weekend.
You just saw too the body language on Zappia's hands. He was way out of shape, Zap. A great drive job just to keep himself in the hunt, but Benny punishes him.
Ben, I'm putting it down to the new door, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know how to explain it. Like, Yeah, this time yesterday we were pulling the motor out because I junked it over bad driving errors, whatever. But my Sig Chrome team and my Holden Trade Club team now all come back from the dead. The boys work till endless hours in the morning. Dad gave me the parts. Have to thank Murray O'Connor, the 2 sleeves and all the stuff you lent me and wouldn't have made it out here with you. Thanks, Murray, I owe you one. Fabs, the door. Everybody knows I can't run without the door, so thanks, Fab. Everything here, everything we do, there's a guy died this morning of the race, little Ellie is fast L. The guy's been the king to everyone. He's been this big, and I tell you now, I don't drink, but Al drinks a lot of scotch, so I think I need a scotch to remember Al, because he told me one day I was down at the track because the man behind me here kept whooping up on me, and Al said, one day your day will come. The day you died, Al, I got it. Thanks, buddy, I love you.
Yeah, great words there from Benny Bray, and also thanking Maurice Fabietti for loaning him the door. Remarkable. Look at the lead. Not much in it there. 42 points between Kapiris and Zapier. Victor will be disappointed. He too couldn't capitalise on that. Final round lurks at the Nationals in Sydney. Going to be epic. Can't wait for Calder Park, October 19.
Oh, it's going to be huge. Top Fuel, Top Bike and Pro Stock Motorcycle. Looking forward to going back racing at Calder Park Raceway after all these years.
Andra Championship Drag Racing coming soon to a city near you. We'll see you next time on Speed Week. Very good light for White. He gets away. He's going to put Murray out. Crowley will be wrapped with that almost as much as White is.
Scott White, he is Luke Crowley's new best friend. Huge hole shot for Ben Bray. That's a big one. 0.78 is out in front. And he's done it. He gets that gorilla off his back. A 5.17 puts John Zapier on the trailer.
I reckon that Victor might have just punched a truck-sized hole in the air with that right mix.
Plenty of drama and excitement on the tricky all-bitumen drag strip in Adelaide, with the hunt for championship winners very much alive. Who will take top honours? Let us know your predictions on Facebook and Twitter. To up-and-coming events now, and Sydney plays host to round 5 of the Australian FX Superbikes from the 4th to the 6th of October. A week later, round 3 of the Australian Supercross Championship kicks off at Mount Gambier in South Australia. Get yourself out to the events and let us know the fun you've had. Next Sunday, we can look forward to more Titanic battles at Phillip Island with round 7 of the Shannon's Nationals. The Saloon Cars, Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge and V8 Touring Cars are in action. There's also the best from the Australian Supercross Championship with round 1 competition from Pro Lights at Hidden Valley in Darwin. If you've missed out on any of today's action, don't worry, you can play catch up at speedweek.com.au and keep us in the loop with your latest motorsport news on Facebook and Twitter. From the Speed Week team, have a great week and we look forward to your company again next Sunday. Bye for now.